Welcome back to Rebelwatch. Good evening, everybody. I'm your host, Campbell Holmes. Alongside me, as always, sports reporters Sawyer Ravino, TAYE Coleman, and Walker Farmer. Happy first show of the semester, guys. We are so excited you are back. How are we feeling? Good?
Feeling
Excited?
great.
Yeah, we're really excited. We always start off talking about our favorite team, Ole Miss football, but this spring, our favorite team is Ole Miss men's basketball. They've been doing great. They have a little bit of a losing streak going on, but big win Wednesday night against Texas. I thought that really put into perspective how much work they're putting in. I know we had a few conference loss, wherever. How are y'all feeling whenever we lost last second to Texas A&M and then all of a sudden Missouri, it looks like we're not even the same team. How are y'all feeling?
Yeah, I was going to say they lost 3 of those games by combined 10 points. 2 of those games they lost by 1. So, I mean, they're hanging in there. They're close. They're right there. But to your point, against Missouri, they just completely fell apart. And I didn't really know what happened. They looked like a much different team against Texas the other night.
Yeah, completely. Walker, what were you thinking?
Yeah, I'll be honest. I was getting a little worried about our team. Not after the State loss, because State's a really good team, ranked, I believe, 14 or 15 right now, in overtime at their place. Not a bad loss. And then A&M's when I started to get a little worried because we were winning that game the entire time, and then we trailed at the very end when they made that 3 to take the lead by 1. And then Missouri, I honestly don't know what happened. I feel like it honestly just wasn't a good chance for a bounce back because it was on the road against a really good Missouri team, ranked 22. And the thing about it is we didn't have Dre Davis, who is one of our best players, and I think we realized how crucial he was to the team this game in our win against Texas when he had 17 points.
Yeah. Going back to Texas teams and everything, I think the A&M game played a big role. That was first game back with the students, so the stadium was rocking and the atmosphere was there, but they just played this kind of half-court press defense, and we struggled a lot. Like the first half, we were just chucking up threes because we couldn't get in the paint. And like you said, missing some key guys, it really came back to bite us. And the main thing that always seems to come back to bite this team, I see, is these late fourth quarter, 2 minutes left in the game, where it's make or break. You have to make the right decisions. You see Padula have turnovers, you see inbound turnovers, stuff like that. It's going to cause other teams to gain momentum, and it came back to bite us against A&M.
I'd have to agree. And, talking about the players, who's been disappointing, who's been impressive. Let's talk about impressive. Sean Padula. He has been coming from 3 for us, clutch. And he is my player of the game pretty much every game now. I know you were talking about Sean Padula before the show. Has he been impressing you?
Yeah, he has. 14.5 points per game leading the Rebels. He had, like you said, 19 the other night. And he's kind of clutch with these threes. He might drive a little bit. Sometimes tries to do too much with these spins, up, fakes. He sometimes does too much. We said a little bit from Brakefield as well. But he gets a ball in his hand, and you're like, okay, this is the guy we want with the ball in his hand. And he just keeps shooting these threes, and he keeps hitting them. And to your point, he's kind of been this heart so far of the Rebels this season so far, I'd say.
Definitely. He basically stepped into that role that I thought Morrell was going to play offensively for us, right? So he's the one actually carrying the offensive load. And I hate to be critical, but like I said, it's beautiful and it's good to see in the stat sheet, but his decision-making late in games, I have to mention it comes back and hurts us. But he's nonetheless a great player. And like I said, without him, our offense is nothing. Like, let's keep it a buck. But that fourth quarter late game situation stuff, it has to get fixed.
Yeah, I agree with you. Padula does have some questionable decisions. I know one was at the end, he ISO'd, he pushed everyone off, and then he drove in, missed it, gave Texas another opportunity to score. But one thing that I really agree with you on is what you said about how crucial Padula's play has been with Matthew Morrell not playing that good this year. I know mainly because he's been banged up all year. He missed a few games, averaged around 16 points a game last year, only averaging 10 this year. But it's nice when you have other players like Padula who transferred in, Dre Davis, like I talked about earlier. Those 2 guys, I think, have helped this team so much this year and has allowed us to take that next step, I feel like, that we couldn't really take last year because all the pressure was on Morrell. And now with those other players, I really think that the sky's the limit for this Ole Miss basketball team. Who knows? We're not only just trying to make the tournament, but then make a run after that.
Exactly, yeah.
I was going to say, I like what you said because Morrell, like you said, been banged up. And I think we had that stint, the 3-game-in-a-row loss, but we were starting to get everyone back healthy. They're trying to figure it out. They played some better defense against Texas the other night. We got Auburn coming up, some big games. We play Mississippi State again here, which, everyone's going to be excited for that one. So I think if we start to get our momentum going a little bit, like you said, this run, it could be a lot better than last year.
And it's definitely a game of momentum. And what I will say about Morrell is while he hasn't been there offensively, he's sharp defensively. Like, he locks these players up. and he's such a long defender. He's such a long defender. He can play the 1 through 5. He can guard everybody on the floor. Like his wingspan and stuff like that, and his instincts. You see him get steal and fast break and transition point after transition point. So I think offensively, he may not be there. He may not be shooting the ball well, but he's definitely playing well defensively, and that's just an effort thing.
Yeah, for sure. And sorry, you brought up the Auburn game. Big game this weekend.
Yeah.
Are we nervous? Because I am.
Oh man,
I'm definitely nervous.
I'm shaking.
I'm shaking a little bit, but I do think us being in the pavilion, coming off a great last-minute win, it will bring the crowd bumping. Yeah. I think for sure. And it's sold out, right?
Oh yeah, completely sold out.
Completely sold out. It's gonna be a good one. You need to get there early. When we get back, we've been talking about it all block. We are going to talk about the Texas game a little bit more. Stay tuned. We'll be back.
When the mornings are hot, the afternoons are hotter, and football is on its way back. Now, games is won by the battles fought in August. Everyone that's not revered as the Ole Miss legend has been in your shoes before, trying to survive that Mississippi heat, competing for a spot, and knowing the sacrifice that it takes to make it in this league. You go into this money collection of men from 100 different places, and if you work, you'll emerge from it as one team with one goal and one heartbeat. The SEC awaits you. And if they don't know who you are now, they will soon.
Where are we gonna go?
Someplace warm. A place where the beer flows like wine. Where beautiful women instinctively flock like the salmon of Capistrano. I'm talking about a little place called
Oxford, Mississippi.
To see it is to believe it. You hear about it, but you just have to see the party.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Grove. The sound and fury are here. Getting out of toe down.
Pageantry, the pride, the pomp is unmatched and unrivaled.
This stadium has come unhinged.
This is what college football is all about.
Oh, as he gets walloped.
No coach is having more fun than usual.
This is the place to be in college football right now.
Welcome back to Rebelwatch. We just talked about the Ole Miss men's basketball team. They're doing good. We're impressed. Let's talk a little bit more about Wednesday night's game against Texas. We have some top plays. Let's watch them. Here we go. We're doing a little recap. This is the first time I've ever done this, so please forgive me. But Texas was hosted here in the pavilion. Let's get into it. Top highlights from me. Of course, we talked about Sean Padula from 3. Of course, he makes it. He gets it. He's awesome. We just talked about it. Again, Dre Davis, who we talked about, Walker said, is surprising. He is doing good, helping the team. All right, we got Jamin Brakefield. He is stepping and getting a layup. In my opinion, he was my player of the game. I'm not going to lie. Matthew Morrell, like we said, defense and gets a layup. His defense has been sharp. May not be the offensive player, but you know what? We're going to have the defense because guess what? We need it. Again, Jamin Brakefield with the layup. Sean Padula again with a 3. And guess what? Guess what the next clip is? Sean Padula again with a 3. He helped us. I think that was, a helper in the game. Again, Matthew Morrell. Jamin Brakefield got the ball loose. Matthew Morrell passed it to Dre Davis, and bang. That was my hammer, nail, coffin of the game last night. And Texas tried to get it. Trey Johnson, 4-3. Defense was too good. Couldn't make it, and Ole Miss wins the game. Crowd was excited. Student section was pumped. I was there. Walker knew you were there. It was a fun game to be at. I'd have to lie. Did you have fun?
Oh, it was awesome. I think the fan base was a little disappointed, after our last home game. First one with the students back against A&M, then we fell apart like that at the end. But, I was honestly a little nervous going to the game. Like, how were the fans going to be? Like, would there be a lot of people there? And I was honestly very impressed. We had the whiteout, at the student section. They always show up. And I really think that helped us win that game at the end, especially after that big play, like you mentioned, that Dre Davis dunk. The pavilion was absolutely rocking.
Crazy.
And then we were just loud the rest of the game. I believe even with like a minute left the whole time, not even students, but the whole arena was standing up, supporting their Rebels. And that ended up being a big part of the game and helping us win. But I will want to say one last thing. David Barnes had 2 very big free throws at the end, and he was the one that missed them against A&M up 2. This was even a more stressful situation, honestly, only being up 1. Made them both to force Texas to shoot a 3 to force it to go to overtime, and he came up big this time. So very proud of him.
Yeah, that was a good game. I know the atmosphere was there. It was a little tricky starting off 0 for 7 from the field, not really being able to hit shots, but that 9-0, 9-2 run to end going into halftime, I think was very crucial in getting us that win. I love the change in game plan going from this A&M game, and it goes to show the kind of coach that Beard is, right? He goes, well, we shot 4 free throws against Texas A&M. We're going to attack the paint hard, and we're going to go, and we're going to try to force and get free throws, and they did that. Now, we did lose the rebound battle. We're down a center right now, but still, I love the game plan, and I love how the team committed to it. And going into Auburn, I promise you have got to be committed to the game plan or it will get bad ugly. So I think it was a great game. It was a tight one. Trey Johnson, great player, only a freshman, but I just love the defense, but more so just getting in that paint and forcing them to foul us.
Yeah, I have to agree. And we did talk about earlier this Auburn game. Who are some players that you are thinking are going to have to step up to the plate and just kind of be dominant, both offensive and defensively?
I gotta say, Brakefield. He's a plug-in guy. He's a spark plug. He always brings great energy, but his shot selection is definitely questionable at some point. I love Brake. I'm a big Brakefield guy. Some people say we're twins. When I'm in the gym and I'm hitting my curls, they like, yo, Brake. I'm like, no, it's just Tay.
Are you for real? No.
But
the height difference is there a little bit.
I love Brakefield, but he has this tendency to be at the top of the key, at the three-point line, and he's a 6'8" forward who's developing ball handling skills, but he tries to cross over and get in the paint. That's not going to fly against Auburn.
It gets a lot.
They are going to be throwing self-alley-oops and running us out of the pavilion. It can get ugly, so shot selection is of most key, and sticking to the game plan and following it.
And, a lot of people are hating on Brakefield these days, trying to be hero ball and trying, he is him. And like Wednesday night, Texas, I thought he was my player of the game. He had some really clutch shots, free throws, all of that. But I do have to agree, he needs to step up to the plate and know when his shot needs to be shot.
Yeah, and I think that's for like the whole team in general. I feel like our whole team tries to like heat check shots at points in the game.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say. Padula had some questionable shots like we talked about earlier, more decisions with that. Also, I want to see Malik Dia get involved. Towards the end, he kind of would get a board, kind of try and dribble or like fumble the ball. It happened 2 or 3 times. He can't really get possession, tries to kick it out too fast. So I think that we need to see him involved, take better shots. His defense has been good the last couple of games, but I think I want to see him more involved in this next couple of games that we got.
Against Auburn, especially with Auburn having, I believe, to be the best player in the country in Janai Broome. He's starting to play really well. He was injured for a while, now playing really good. If Malik Dia can have a really good game defensively and offensively, shutting down Janai Broome, and then if he plays like he did during that winning streak we had, when we had arguably one of the best wins by any team this year, beating Alabama on the road, ranked number 4 right now. Dia had around 19 points that game. So if Malik Dia can have another strong offensive performance and play well against Janai Broome, I believe even if we don't win, that game will be very close.
And I must add, he had 19 rebounds against Alabama himself.
Yes, he did.
You have to attack the glass. You have to win the rebound battle. That's something we haven't done. And going back to shot selection, this is not the NBA. You don't have 24 compressed seconds to go get a basket. You have 30. It's times when we're chucking up shots with 12, 15 seconds left on the shot clock when you can create an open look easier by just keeping the ball hot. So I think attacking, but definitely winning the rebound column is the biggest key to beating this Auburn team, in my opinion.
I'd say real quick, I'd have to agree with that. We haven't gotten a lot of boards since the BYU in the tournament down in San Diego. So once we got into SEC play, we haven't gotten as physical. But I like to point out, because I said that earlier in the year, right, rebounds got to win.
We just have to limit those second chance opportunities for other teams too, because other teams, not only are they killing us rebounding, but they're also killing us with offensive rebounds.
Yeah.
And then we're allowing all these other teams to get second chance opportunities, because we have a really good defense, we know that, but when we don't rebound, eventually we're going to get tired and they're going to get those opportunities. And against a player like Janai Broome, he will absolutely destroy us with second chance points and put back opportunities, so we will have to limit that to have a chance to win that game.
For sure. Again, like we said, game is at 1 on Saturday. Please get there early. I've heard people are getting there at 8, 9. You need to get there early if you want to be in the student section. But when we come back, we're now going to be talking about the women's basketball team. We'll be back.
Going to be a hot one out there for move-in weekend, Ole Miss. Good luck this year, Red.
You did it. You're home. I can't wait for you to discover the true meaning of Hotty Toddy. It's a cheer that connects us all to the red and blue. It's the moment that begins when you step on campus and continues long after you turn your tassel. I can't wait for you to discover your legacy and make the world a better place. Are you ready?
Ole Miss 18th NCAA tournament appearance.
This is fun, folks, as Baker's peeling it. Little heat check. Snow Collins for three. Bring it up.
Said, I love Madison Scott.
Ole Miss Rebels are having a lot of fun, and you can see why.
NewsWatch is a student-run newscast that goes live every week, Monday through Thursday at 5 o'clock.
NewsWatch is more than just a college team. It is an immersive learning experience. You learn certain skills that help you in your future journalism career.
Rebelwatch is just a cool experience, because like I want to do something in the sports world, so just to get the chance to do that on a platform like this, it's just a great opportunity.
We are the only live station in the Oxford-Lafayette area, with Tupelo being the closest. We cover all local news.
Welcome back to Rebel Watch. You know, we just talked about men's basketball. Let's talk about women's basketball. They're doing pretty good this season, I would say. Probably, I don't know, not as good as last season, but I think they're doing pretty good. They did just lose to Texas, and it was a nail-biter lose for them. So, I mean, they still had a chance. How are y'all feeling about the team this season?
I feel good about the women's basketball team. They're a good team, kind of similar to us. They play amazing defense, and they hustle and they do all of that. But I don't know what happened against Texas. They legitimately didn't score in the last 4 minutes in crunch time. And they got games. So you have Texas A&M hitting the game-winning three on us, and then our women's basketball team had a game-winning shot against them. So it was a tough week for us, but they have to find an identity. Like, they have no offensive identity. They have no effort identity, because if you have an identity, you're going to score within the last 4 minutes of your game to seal it. And Texas was ranked very highly in R. And it's just been many times throughout their season where they just lose these close games. USC, in December, we were talking about this. Even against UConn, they had that game and then they went on a run. Alabama in conference play, they just have to have that grit to finish games out and just find an identity of the type of team they want to be. And they don't have much time, because this is the last month. Nobody in the SEC plays basketball to not make the tournament. Right. So they have to turn it up a notch, and they have to find an identity.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're right. They don't have a lot of time. They have 9 games left. 6 of them are against ranked opponents. 2 of those are against top 10. I mean, it's not going to be an easy schedule. But like you said, Tay, they got to get someone going. Sarah Thinu, she's averaging 13 points per game, 5 boards, handful of assists. True freshman. So it's like she's starting to find her identity.
Yeah, there's definitely hope. And, of course, you know, they have Madison Scott, who is, you know, undoubtedly the best player on the team. She is the star. She's her. Like, I love Madison Scott. I think, you know, with her on the team and, you know, with these 9 games left, I feel like with her leadership, she's going to rally them up and get them ready for these. Because even with Coach Yo's attitude, you know, I feel like they're going to be able to get some wins out of this and make the tournament.
Yeah, I think they'll make the tournament. They're a good team. They've been a good team for years, but they're just not to that elite level yet. I think the main thing about women's college basketball just as a whole is there's not as much parity as men's college basketball. They have those elite teams that just absolutely destroy everyone else. Like, women's basketball is a sport where the number 1 ranked team versus the number 23rd ranked team is going to be favored by 15 points. There's just not as much parity as there is in men's basketball, and I think that's the same way with Ole Miss. We've been a good team for a few years. We've been consistently ranked in the teens or in the 20s, but we just can't win those big games. I think Texas was another thing that shows that. They're ranked number 5. We were winning the whole game, and we just choked at the end. Same thing with USC, first game of the year. We had an opportunity to start the year off 1-0, beating the number 4 ranked USC Trojans in like a tournament or a tournament classic game overseas in France, and then we just couldn't quite close at the end. So I think this team is continuing to get better. This program is getting better over Coach Yo. Maybe we can be one of those elite teams in the future, but I think this year will just be like one of the years in the past. We'll probably make the tournament, but then get eliminated in the second round or Sweet 16.
Yeah, and we do play a good team tonight, Georgia, in Athens. So if they do get that win, I will have a little bit more hope in them. But, you know, it's always hard when you're visiting an SEC team.
And I'm not too worried about it. Like, it all comes down to effort. Like, when you don't have the talent of some of these teams, like you were saying, Walker, you got to win. You got to hustle for rebounds. You got to make extra plays. And it's all about your approach. And you got to have a high motor. And I think that goes right back to our men's team. Play harder. Simple as that.
I'd have to agree.
Yeah, I was going to say I like that. If you're not the strongest, the fastest, effort and attitude, you got to play small ball. You got to go out there. You got to be feisty. You got to be tenacious. You got to go earn it, because it's not going to be a fair matchup. You have to go try and level the playing field, really. Try and go gritty and, Yeah,
exactly. Again, like we said, they're playing Georgia. Go ahead and go watch, but when we come back, we're going to be talking about the NFL, NFC, AFC Championship, and Super Bowl next Sunday. We'll be back.
The dynamic freshman is starting to make his impact. Dagger with the shot clock down to 1. That 3-ball drops for Jamin Brakefield. Fagan from the corner with a triple. Burrell for 3, and that's a big response. 3-ball, yes. Miss shooting lights out of the pavilion. And give him one more. Wow, alley-oop. Well, you can't teach that. Well, that should give Ole Miss a boost.
Everyone has a ritual, that small thing that keeps us focused. A habit we never skip to clear our minds and elevate our performance.
But what do you do to keep your head in the game, to drown out the self-doubt and support your mental health? Because being your best isn't just about taking care of your body.
It's about taking care of your mind and mental health. Discover the resources you need to keep your mind focused and your mental health a priority.
We are rebels. For more than 160 years, we've been accomplishing the impossible, from conducting the world's first lung transplant to helping prove Einstein was right. From preserving the past to saving the future. We are Mississippi's flagship university, a place where passion and learning unite, where friends become family, where small-town charm meets world-class innovation. We are the University of Mississippi. We are Ole Miss.
Welcome back to Rebelwatch. We just got done talking about Ole Miss basketball. Let's move on to some professional sports, NFL, NFC, AFC championships. We have our Super Bowl contenders. You know, last semester we talked about who we thought was going to be in TAYE. I'm pretty sure both of us said the Chiefs.
Oh yeah, I was out here on the ledge, and it was depressing. But man, I really don't like to say this, guys, but like I was really right. The Chiefs are gonna three-peat. I don't think it's gonna be easy. Saquon Barkley is a wrecking machine, but the strongest point of the Chiefs' defense is their defensive line. So I really trust that Spagnuolo will be able to draw something up to at least limit Saquon and force Jalen Hurts to throw a 20-yard pass, which we all know he cannot do. So I think the Chiefs will have no problem three-peating. And once again, when I know when it gets gritty and it gets to these late situations, I trust 15 like I would trust Brady.
Oh.
That man's second coming of him. Like he is an amazing quarterback, great fundamentals, and I know if the game is close and he has a chance to go put them back or to win it, he's going to do that.
Well, there you go. Okay, Sawyer, what do you think?
I was going to say, wow, that idea of the Chief Pete or whatever they're calling it. I mean, the Bills versus the refs game or whatever. That's not going to happen. No, they had a good little run. But to your point, Saquon is too good. Chris Jones is a good pass rusher. They stuck him in the at nose tackle a little bit more last game. But yeah, Saquon Barkley, I'm really loving what he's doing. He got a new chance with the Eagles first year. I'm happy that he's kind of being able to show himself and really be dominant. But on the other side, the Chiefs kind of have to stop him in order to win. But I think that the Eagles, you said get Jalen Hurts on the run. He can't throw on the run, but he can take off. So if he pulls the ball down, he can take off. They got weapons, A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith. But I got to go Eagles in this one because the Chiefs don't have the refs every single game.
There you go, Walker.
Yeah, I have a feeling the Eagles are going to win just because of Saquon Barkley. I know the Chiefs have a good pass rush, but I just think Saquon Barkley is the difference maker. As y'all know, this was the Super Bowl matchup 2 years ago, and the main difference was that the Eagles did not have Saquon Barkley, and it was still a really close game. So I think he'll be the main difference. But then again, if Patrick Mahomes does find a way to win this game, after breaking Josh Allen's heart for the 4th time. If the Chiefs win this game, and then he'll have his 4th Super Bowl ring already, 3rd in a row, he'll be getting awfully close with. He's already really young, not even 30 yet. There could be a really good chance that he could pass Brady as the GOAT of the NFL.
I could agree. And in 2 Thursdays, you might be the winner of Rebelwatch because I'm thinking the Eagles are going to win as well. So
Whoa,
I know I always said the Chiefs about postseason Eagles. Good.
Are you
dominant?
I just want to
dominant.
Like I'm all for AJ Brown, Ole Miss Rebel. Jalen Hurts cannot throw the football. Like we're gonna get
he can hand the ball off to Saquon Barkley.
We're gonna get a 12.
That's all he needs to do.
We're gonna get a 12 for 18 stat sheet with 118 yards and a rushing touchdown from the tush push from Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, you guys can't stop tush push.
You have to be able to throw the ball. It's simple as that. Saquon cannot run 300 yards and beat the Chiefs by himself. I promise you, it will not happen.
He ran for almost 130 yards and 3 touchdowns against the Commanders.
When this happens in 2 weeks, I'm going to look right back at the camera. They're going to play the VO. My face is going to be on the side, and it's going to be me saying what I just said, and I'm going to be
Tay
right.
will do the Super Bowl recap. That's in 2 Sundays. Let's talk about the NBA. All-Star reserves just came out about 30 minutes ago, and you know who's on there? Jaren Jackson Jr. from the Grizzlies. I told you guys. He was going to be in along with Victor Wembanyama, Anthony Davis, Anthony Edwards, Harden. I'm loving this All-Star list. Have y'all gotten a chance to look at it, or?
I skimmed over it. I think it's a great All-Star list. I love the reserves. I think they got the starters as perfect as it could be. On the Eastern Conference side, though, they definitely did LaMelo Ball no justice by not allowing him to be an Eastern Conference All-Star starter. But I love the reserves. I'm a big Jalen Williams guy for the Thunder. I think he's almost just as important as Shea. He does the dirty work that most people don't see in a box score. But I think this is great that he's a first-time All-Star. And then, like you said, Jaren Jackson, he earned it.
Thank you.
I'll be honest.
Yeah, and going back to regular NBA season, over Christmas break, were there any teams that impressed y'all the most? Who are y'all thinking? Sawyer?
I was going to say the last 10 games, the Suns have been 7-3. They're kind of creeping up. They got their spot in like the wild card position, if you will. And I think that they're going to look hot. They're starting to get some good momentum. So I'm going to say the Suns are going to creep up and surprise some people in the final stretch.
I like it. Walker?
I would just have to say, the Cavs and the Thunder, they've just dominated all year. The Cavs are 38-9, the Thunder 37-9. That's just such a good record, and they've just been good all year. They've just been consistent, so I think they'll keep that up. Led by Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and then Donovan Mitchell. Those teams could they could easily meet in the finals. I know
And
there's a lot of basketball
I would
left. but-
love that
Yeah.
more than anything. I think Shea is one of the best players in the league right now.
Yeah.
He undoubtedly is just amazing.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he dropped like 55 last night against the Warriors. So I think he should have won MVP last year, but I think this year he definitely has it.
Yeah.
As far as teams go, I've been looking at the New York Knicks.
Yeah.
They have been playing some really good
They
basketball.
just killed the Grizzlies tonight. So.
Oh, that wasn't even intentional. But Karl Anthony Towns, like he's coming into his own there. I think this is the year they make a run. They have to face Boston. I don't know if they beat Boston in the playoffs just yet, but it's a momentum thing. So if they go in the playoffs playing their best basketball, then I think they could definitely make a run in the East for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that is all the time we have tonight. Again, I'm your host, Campbell Holmes. Alongside me, as always, sports reporters Sawyer Ravino, TAYE Coleman, Walker Farmer. Please join us next week for some more sports. Good night, everybody. Yay.